not the sort of video I was really wanting to make, but at this point, I feel like I can and really need to deconstruct Guru's attempt to get back at me for over 3-year-old drama that's evidently he's yet to get over. So while I acknowledge this video might be like, 3 months too late to the party, a series of emotionally driven tweets on my end isn't really enough to demonstrate what's wrong with Guru's points and why I'm this so-called abuse enabler. And hopefully, when we're done here, we can clock it in and end this drama after, and I stress, 3 years. The keywords, hopefully. Let's get some of the more obvious comments out of the way before they're even typed, shall we?
Why didn't you resolve this in DMS?
Fairly simple, really. Guru has me blocked since 2019 and has to date only seemed to have either unblocked me or used an alt to find my Twitter when he needed screenshots for his doc a few months ago. My Twitter username and profile pic from said screenshots more or less confirmed that he did these in the last few months of 2021. And while we did happen to be in Blazed and Movie Fan server at the same time for a while, at the time I had no reason to bring up old drama from 2019 in private 2 to 3 years later. One of my wrongdoings evidently was assuming Guru was a mature adult and would learn to let something like that go after a set amount of time like anyone else would, but as we all know by now, I was sorely mistaken.
OMG, why are you dragging Guru's name up for drama that has long since passed?
Because I'm not patient enough to wait 3 years on the Guru. But for real though, the way that Google Doc was handled was already poor, and the fallout of my reaction and other people's reaction to it left a really sour taste in my mouth. Thankfully now I've had time to gather my thoughts and can actually respond in a method that will allow me to make my side of things clear.
He apologized already, why aren't you letting it go?
Guru and those screaming into the abyss in his defense seem to believe that saying I'm sorry is enough to excuse any wrongdoing no matter how severe said wrongdoings actually were. Guru issued 2 apologies in the aftermath of his tweet. One he flat out states in his own doc was made to get people off his back about the situation, and then made a second one seeming to be actually sincere. However, the problem here is public apologies serve a different purpose than Guru seems to realize. To publicly admit your wrongdoings and to... Now, here's the shocking truth, so brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. To learn and to change your ways and to grow as a person. How many of those statements has Guru followed up with after the situation? From his responses and actions going on even to this day, evidently 0. So for those attempting to villainize me for not taking his apology seriously, that's the major reason for it.
You never apologized to him, you meanie.
This is where the main chunk of this issue lies. Guru essentially wants me to get on my knees and grovel for his forgiveness for making snarky comments in his horrid tweet on how rape victims need to stop victimizing themselves and get over it, quote unquote. Said snarky comments being involved with his interactions with Joni, and publicly saying he needs to be removed from the Cloud Palace. Now with that last part, yes, I was out of line for, and I have, and I will continue to admit that was a mistake on my end. The rest, however? Apparently you expect me to be a mind reader, and know you were apparently being abused by Rae at this time. Which, to be honest, is the most disgusting part about all of this. Weaponizing your abuse and mental demons you were battling at the time to get back at a guy who took an issue with a tweet of yours several years ago. So in response to all of this, and as a response to your lovely end statement, calling me a cunt and hoping I enjoyed the show, Mr. Guru, allow me to leave off with a statement of my own, if you will. My crimes in this debacle are as follows. Not knowing about the Rae situation happening in the background at the time of the altercations, stating you needed to be kicked from the Cloud Palace despite not being in the group in it and being none of my business, and making an all too emotionally charged response to your doc on Twitter. Not taking your apology at face value and calling your overall doc a pity party due to how, when you recount incidents that you are visibly in the wrong for, you excuse it with some variation of, I was in a dark place and was really upsetting spaghetti, you guys. You drug a Twitter spat from 3 years ago back out so you could finally get back at me for a response I made. Labeled me an abuse enabler, and even tried to put me on the same level as Rae and V Omega, the abuser and the sex pest, uttered from our community. Turned a blind eye when, in defiance to your little ending message of "don't harass anyone here," people did start to harass me publicly, and apparently privately starting things even further to get me kicked out of certain CC-related servers. Guru, you find me to be a cunt, an abuse enabler, etc. I believe Rae labeled you a parasite. And as much as I don't support what she's done to people, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff that she says, she hit the nail right on the fucking head. You are a complete and utter parasite with a superiority complex and manipulative, petty, compulsive liar. It is beyond disgusting you got away with what you did here. And I know there's a good chance you'll dig for some way out of this. You'll spin your narrative and continue getting away with your pathetic, horrid behavior, but the tiny, minuscule even, chance of my video making people that were firmly on your side to begin with question if you're truly the person they believe they're friends with, if you're honestly speaking the truth, well, you know what, it's worth a shot. And honestly, I realize Guru and some of those in his inner circle likely are going to refuse to listen to a word I have to say. But, regardless, you all got your say. And you blocked me before I had a chance to respond naturally on Twitter. So, I'm now putting out my side once and for all on a platform you can't hide from. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Truly, I do. I wish you the best of luck trying to find a convincing narrative for you to spin this one from. Until that time comes, however, that's the end of it as far as I'm concerned. So this has been Kurome Cien Towa, signing off.